Throughout our AS Media Project, we have used numerous forms and conventions of real media products to make it a narrative that is as close as we could make it to a well-known thriller, in terms of enigmas, tension-building action codes, and various other media tools. Our thriller is called Intel. Our narrative is about an innocent adolescent being chased by government officials. The idea of an innocent person being chased by government officials is similar to the plot of the thriller Shooter, where the innocent protagonist has been framed by the government for the assassination of the United States President. In Taken, the protagonist goes in pursuit of his beloved daughter. However, he also has the French government after him, once again like our thriller. A quick editing pace is also used during our chase scene to emphasise the dynamic chase. Several shot reverse shots and crosscuts are used to show both our protagonist and antagonist during the scene. This quick editing pace is much like the swift editing pace used in various different chases in Taken, one of the thrillers analysed on our website. Charles Derry's theory of subgenre also comes into play in our narrative. Derry believed that you could put every thriller into one or more of the 6 thriller subgenres: on the run, political, psychotraumatic, moral confrontation, acquired identity, and murderous passions. If a thriller is a combination of 2 or more of these subgenres, then it's known as a hybrid. Our narrative has the element of on the run because the protagonist is being chased by a group of antagonists. It also has an element of a political thriller, as government officials are chasing the protagonist because of a USB that contains significant information which the protagonist has in his possession. This on-the-run and political thriller combination is the same pairing used for the thriller Shooter and Taken. Our thriller contains many point of view shots. This allows the audience to empathise with the protagonist, and when it is a point of view from the antagonist, it gives the idea that someone is watching the protagonist. This large usage of point of view shots is much like Disturbia. Our thriller contradicts Todorov's equilibrium theory. Todorov believed that most thrillers had a pattern of equilibrium, disequilibrium, and then back to equilibrium. The beginning of our thriller displays a feeling of disequilibrium, as the protagonist is seen in a dark train station toilet, looking scared and agitated. This contradiction of the pattern is much like Born Identity, which immediately begins in a tense situation with the protagonist being found in the sea with bullet wounds. The editing pace changes throughout Intel. At the start it was fairly slow, but the protagonist is shown being scared. As the thriller unfolds and the tension builds, the editing pace speeds up. For example, when the protagonist suspects there being someone outside of the toilets, the editing pace speeds up and shot reverse shots are used, from point of view shots and back to close-ups of the protagonist's face. This tempo continues up to the point of the protagonist pushing the door open. This quick editing pace simmers down, but once again reaches the peak during the chase scene. This is very similar to the thriller Taken, which has many chase scenes with a rapid editing pace. We could also compare this speedy editing pace to the one used in Disturbia, where the protagonist pursues the antagonist in his house. When one of the 2 antagonists walks through the inside of the train station, a CCTV shot is used. This was achieved by holding the camera in the high corner of the room and later saturating the shot to make it black and white, and with a red recording sign in the corner of the screen. This type of shot is often used to give the audience the idea that the character is being watched, but that was not the case for our thriller. We simply used it to show the antagonist slowly approaching the protagonist. This technique is used in many thrillers. After the protagonist in our thriller is injected with the green substance, he falls back. This is shown with a handheld point of view shot to give the effect he is stumbling backwards to the ground. While he is falling, a blur effect is used to show the protagonist falling to sleep. This blurry effect is often used in thrillers to give the effect of a character losing consciousness. For example, in Taken, the protagonist is put to sleep, and this is shown by a blurry effect. The heartbeat score is used to show the protagonist losing consciousness. During the chasing down the alley, a high angle shot is used. This was mainly to use a greater variety of shots, however we also used it to show the disempowerment of the protagonist. A high angle shot is also used in Taken, when the protagonist arrives at the HQ of the sex traffickers. We used a CCTV shot of the antagonist progressing through the train station. This shot is used in various thrillers. For example, in James Bond, Casino Royale uses a CCTV shot when the protagonist watches CCTV footage of the protagonist watching the car park camera to see who enters. We used the shot to show the antagonist after several point of view shots from his perspective. A large number of point of view shots are used during our thriller to allow the audience to empathise with the character. Probably the most significant point of view shot we use is the shot of the protagonist collapsing after being injected with an unknown substance. The point of view shot shows the protagonist slowly falling to the ground as his vision is distorted, and the antagonist standing over his semi-conscious body. A variety of action codes and enigmas are used during Intel to create tension, mystery, and events that make the audience keen to find out what is going to happen later in our thriller. One of our main enigmas was our red herring character reaching into his pocket. The use of a red herring is used in many big narratives such as the Da Vinci Code. In fact, there are several red herrings used. This creates an enigma that lasts throughout the course of the narrative. Many shot reverse shots and close-up shots are used to build tension. The enigma is, what is going to be in the red herring's pocket? The audience then find out that he is not actually an antagonist, but he is just a civilian. The main enigma throughout the thriller, and especially the opening, is, why is the USB so important, and what data is on it? The audience know that the USB is important because of the close-up shot used in the train station toilets, but they do not know why it is so crucial.